Welcome back to the Fantasy Golf Gods podcast. We are your hosts, Rusty Miller and Matt Jacobs.
How you guys doing?
What's going on?
Another week. We're here at the BMW in Chicago.
Conway Farms.
We were here a couple years ago. Last year we were close by to our hometown in Crooked Stick.
So they switch it every other year.
Yeah, it's in a rotation.
So it's between those two courses just about every other year for the last 5 or 6 years. A little closer to us in the Indy in Crooked Stick every other year. But these last 2 years, 13 and 15, we're at Conway Farms where we're at this week. And it's a par 71.
Yeah, it's not near as long as it has been in the last
short course for what they are.
Couple rounds.
Yep, 7,200 yards.
Yep.
3 par 5s, obviously. 2 of them, interestingly, are 16 and 18.
Yeah.
Which hopefully will give us some fireworks down the stretch.
Yeah, hopefully we see some guys that need to make the top 30 or winning the tournament.
Yeah, and the 18 is a pretty good risk-reward hole. So
yeah, it's a pretty cool course to watch.
It should be fun. It is the next to last event, so it's in the FedEx Championship this year. So it is going to be fun regardless.
Yeah.
70 of the best golfers in the world, which makes this podcast very interesting and the pricing very interesting.
We've had a long time to look at them.
Yeah.
Long time to change lineups. A long time to do the tinker.
Well, we're still a few days away.
And some of us don't even have core guys yet.
Oh, well. That's a struggle.
Yeah, it's been a interesting week of me digging through stats and feelings and golfers.
I feel like with the extra week, it gave us a little analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis.
Something
I
like
get.
That, yeah. So much time to overthink.
Yeah. So that's the easy way to say it.
So before we dig into this, let's recap.
Oh, you want to go back to the Dells? Technologies.
I can't remember much about it. It seems like it was forever ago.
It does. That Monday finish was. It was odd watching golf on a Sunday and it not being a Sunday.
Yeah.
But I did watch it on Monday then too. So it was the first 9 holes on Monday with Jordan and JT and Leishman all going 30, 30, 31 on the front was spectacular. There's bombs going there. Back 9 kind of was boring to me.
I remember a couple things from that tournament. Jason Day, his round.
Bad early, finished good late. Kind of the opposite of Finau.
I kind of wanted to see him, he's our guy too, and it's hard to talk bad about him because we do like him, but he's going to have to do something this week for me to get back on the train.
Yeah, that's 2 straight events with the weekend not being great for Finau. But
the 2 things I remember are Jason Day's round and Leishman's shot on 18 through the cameraman's legs.
That was pretty impressive on the cameraman's part.
Yeah, the cameraman had the best move of the entire tournament.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, so chopped it down from, 100 there to
125, I think it was.
No, it was 100 there to the 70 here. No cut. So everybody you pick is going to have
6 of 6, going to make it
6
through.
of 6. So it makes it interesting. It makes, I feel, the edge we get for thinking things through.
Yeah,
kind of goes out the window a bit.
Yeah, you're not going to have many people miss a cut this week with no cut. So
you just got to watch out for the dreaded WD because that will sink your lineup.
Yeah, if you have a WD this week, you pick wrong big time.
Yeah. So it's also interesting pricing, and we'll get into it a little bit. But they shrunk the pricing, and there's only 6,900 is the lowest.
Yeah, and last year I remember, I think it went down to 63 or 61 last year.
I saw there's 23 guys below 69 or below 7,000. This year there's 7 or 5.
It made it a little bit more difficult to try to do the stars and scrubs.
Yeah, and if you're gonna play team jamming in 2 guys at the top, you're gonna have 6,900 or 7,000 for 4 of your guys, and I'm on that boat for half of my lineups.
Yeah, I know you said you were going to try to smash a couple of the big guys up top together and a few of the lower guys.
So I'm going to try to get lucky with the lower guys and with who I believe in the top. And then probably less than half, but I'm gonna go more of a middle road.
Yeah.
And when I say middle, they're all gonna be in the 8,000s to 9,000s.
Yeah.
Not very many in the sevens.
Sure.
But we can get into that.
Yeah.
But
so I've got the weather here for this week. I know we had the hurricane down in Florida, and I don't think that's going to play too much into
we got that rain
here.
for that here.
It's
today.
raining here now for that. The only real chance of rain this weekend is Sunday. 50% chance, scattered thunderstorms. Other than that, Friday and Saturday sunny, mid-80s. Thursday is going to be partly cloudy, 77 winds, nothing really to speak of. So should be a good tournament. Hopefully the rain holds off on Sunday till Sunday night after it's done. But there were some rain showers there this week. Could soften it up. It is typically a tournament that has some low scores.
Last time it was here was in 15. The winning score was minus 21.
Yeah, and then
in 13 it was at 14 under.
That was 16 or 14.
Yeah.
So they are going to go low, regardless of what the weather's doing right now.
And if you make it softer,
it's
only going to get
it's going to get lower.
And it's not a bomber's paradise, so you don't have to worry about it.
No, wide
lengthening
fairways,
the course, being soft and no run out. So it's really going to be. I heard it's also one of the faster greens on the the tour, so that'll be cool. Leads me into some of my big guys, but putting's going to be a big thing, and we'll go from there. So let's just jump right in, and we really haven't talked about it, but I want to get your idea on one guy before we dive into the whole thing. So while the Dell was finishing up on Monday, we were texting back and forth and said, I ask you, guess what Rory's salary is going to be next week? Because, I mean, he has been a no-show. The whole FedEx Cup, I mean, he was supposed to be awesome at that course and was a non-factor.
Yeah, of course, history was great there.
He was supposed to be awesome at the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow, and he was a non-factor there. So his ribs are hurting, maybe not hurting, who knows?
I think he's battling more than a rib injury. I think he's got some demons inside he's trying to get rid of, and it's just, I honestly think he needs to take a break.
Yeah.
I know he wants to finish out, and you got to commend him for that, and I don't know off the top of my head where he stands in FedEx Cup points, but I know it's up there, and I would like to see him do well, because I like Rory. I don't think he's...
I like Rory a lot, but I just don't think that... he's going to be much of a factor. And it's just so interesting to see that guy drop so far in fantasy points.
Yeah, he's at, 9,400 this week? And to be honest with you...
That's high.
I'm still not taking him at 9,400. I could take him at 89, 88 maybe. And it is what it is. And I think he's going to bounce back from this in the next year going into 2018.
Yeah, he just needs some time off.
I think he's trying to do too much. Really? So he's that low. So he's got to do something.
He's got to go...
This winter go
low,
home for him now.
Yeah, he's got to go low or he's not going to play next week at the tour. So, as a defending champ and defending FedEx Cup, you know he wants to be there.
Oh, so, yeah. So maybe he'll do something spectacular this week because he knows he's on that bubble.
I'll have 2 shares just because I'm a...
I don't think I have right now any shares of him. I don't know that I'll put any shares of him in there.
He can get hot at any time. He had a week off to rest. Maybe he fixed his putter. I don't
know.
I just thought it was an interesting part because you always talk about the 4 big ones, right?
Yeah.
And Jason Day's not been there this year, and Rory really hasn't either. But then kind of JT comes into that, and Rahm kind of comes into that.
You got a couple guys in place.
And then Hideki. Yep. So, I mean, you're talking realistically. I mean, Rory doesn't belong in the top 5 or 6.
I don't think he does either. And to be honest with you,
I mean, Casey. We'll talk about Casey, but his pricing's a joke at 9,200. I mean,
because I'm looking at DraftKings points here, and in my model, Casey is 4th, Rory is 48th, and this is based off the last 8 rounds, so I mean, pretty recent form. And Casey is cheaper. Masayama, 59th in DraftKings points in the last 8 rounds, and Casey is 4th. And Masayama's $9,900.
I mean, Casey, his pricing is a joke. Like, he literally hasn't finished outside the top 15 in 15 events.
And the only thing I hope here is I like Casey and I will have him, is that his price, I don't know. I can't say because
The U.S. Open was the last time he finished outside the top 15, and he was 25th.
I mean, based on his performance, he should be 100% owned.
And he's going to be...
He's going to be...
Chalk of the chalk?
Yeah, oh yeah, he is the chalk.
He may be the highest... Who do you think will be the highest owned guy?
If it's not Casey, it might be Leishman. I could see Leishman because of his performance recently and his low price.
Yeah.
Because you can stick a Spieth with a Leishman, I believe, and make it.
Okay, let's go back to the top. We'll kind of get out of turn, but so above 10K you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. So Jordan, DJ, Ricky, Rom, JT. So 5 guys. Who you like? Who you don't like? Why?
Obviously, we like Spieth because it's Jordan Spieth. He's playing phenomenal. There's not much you can say about him other than it's Jordan Spieth playing Jordan Spieth. Dustin Johnson, phenomenal player. I don't think he's going to win it this weekend. He's a little high priced for me.
Who do you think is going to be higher owned, Jordan or DJ?
I would say Jordan.
So Jordan last week, or at the Dell Technologies, was 3% owned.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me. But he was really expensive, and DJ was right there, but he was at, what, 15% owned? So it's crazy, but DJ had won the week before in that playoff, just showing up Jordan with that drive over the lake. So I think that played a lot into people, and then now people are, hey, Jordan's finished second 2 weeks in a row.
Well, the thing is, too, I mean, especially this week, he's
DJ
$300 cheaper, and that's not a lot of money at the top. But when you get to the bottom and you've only got 70 players and your cheapest player is 69, that takes you up to 72, which brings you in a whole different market of players.
It's true.
So I could see Dustin Johnson having a lot more ownership than Spieth even this week, even though Spieth is playing better. So if you're looking for the guy who doesn't have the ownership, I think Spieth is going to be less owned than Dustin Johnson.
I think a lot of people skip both of them again and start their lineups with Ricky. I mean, basically 10-7, so basically $1,000 cheaper than both of those guys. Yeah. Super popular guy around DraftKings and fantasy golf in general. So I could see a lot of people just starting their lineups there and not starting even with the top 2.
Yeah, because I mean he does really well. He's in my model. He's 11th in DraftKings points, 12th in birdies, 33rd in eagles. I mean, we do have a couple par 5s for potential eagles, so that's important. There are a couple guys that are cheaper that I think I would rather have than Ricky, but Ricky could
So
go out
are you
going
to start above him? Are you going to get Jordan, DJ?
No. I tell you, we have to go down about 5 more people to get to where I start.
Okay. So you're not going to have any Rom, any JT?
I may have a couple lineups with him, but the majority of my lineups this week are going to be based off of Paul Casey as my starting guy.
So I'm full on the Jordan Spieth bandwagon. I'm going to be the conductor of it this weekend. I'm going to have Jordan Spieth everywhere. I'm not going to have any DJ or Ricky. I like Rom. I got off that train a couple weeks ago, thought it was going the wrong direction, and he almost won the event.
Yeah,
and then he played really well last week. He's been making tons of putts since he made that putter change and lopped an inch off of it.
Yeah.
He's hot. People are going to give the narrative, oh, he's never played here. Well, he hasn't played at half the courses he played at this year.
And he's still doing good regardless of his course knowledge.
And then JT can get as hot as anybody in the field and string the lowest of the low rounds together.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe JT locked up Player of the Year last week or whatever.
We can call it last week.
But I'm still on this theory that what goes up
must come down.
Must come down. And I don't know enough about Justin Thomas as a professional golfer to say he has the drive of a Dustin Johnson or Jordan Spieth or, like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, you would never expect to see the kind of year he have and it to fade off. Justin Thomas is so new to this.
But my question then to counter that would be, wouldn't you have thought that happened after the PGA? And he went back and won again, right? So, like, I just don't see that happening. And
it's I think it's a risk to say it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
And then the
Is
other
it this
side
week,
of that,
next week, or a few weeks, or a few months from now when we come back. But at 10-3, I'm not saying he's going to finish 25th. I think he'll probably do a top 10. But at 10-3, if I'm picking you at 10-3 and you're not in the top 2, it was a waste of money for me.
yeah. So it goes back to the FedEx kind of Cup, and if you look back at the history of the tournament or the series during the playoffs, whoever's won it has played really well. Usually for those 4 events, you get a couple-time winner. Rory won twice last year.
Yep.
Horschel won twice the year he won it. So JT fits that. Also, Spieth fits that with his 2 seconds. He could win another one and then move on. So those are the 2 guys. And now, with all this said and all the pros for them, if you do that, you're going to have 4 of the low guys, and they're going to have to do something if you're going to win cash.
And that's
so. How
thing.
much do you trust these 4 guys versus these 2 guys?
That's the thing. You could take Thomas and Fowler, and they could go 1-2 and get you a boatload of points
and
up
you
top.
Could finish
and then your
out
next
of the
4 guys get you 50 points each because you spent so much money up top that you don't even make money in a dollar double up. And to me, that's where it becomes a little harder to pick these guys at 10-3, 10-5, 10-7 or higher, because the backside of my lineup is going to be 6-9, 7-7-1. While there are some good guys on there, I don't want to ride
my entire
lineup on those.
So that goes back to this strategy, I guess, for a non-cut event and a small field. Do you play as many lineups? I think, to me, it's a very easy week to... I love it, and I'm not going to watch golf without having money on it and DraftKings, but I'm not putting the same bankroll as I put on the PGA or even the Northern Trust at the beginning of the tournament or the playoffs.
I'm gonna have probably 20 lineups, maybe 25, but I'm gonna try to do something a little different than I usually do. I won't lie, I've had a hard time really coming up with what I want and what I like in these guys. As I've said before, I'm a feel guy, not so much a stats guy. And I think this week has killed me because I've looked at so many stats. I could probably be a statistician on the PGA Tour now because I've looked at so many numbers. But I'm going to pick a couple core guys and build 20 lineups around those 2 guys just to try something different than what I usually do, just to see if it works. Because
So I do that from time to time, but most of the time when I do that, my core guys are in the top tier or 2.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Where are your core guys going to come from?
I've got one core guy at 92 in Paul Casey.
Okay.
The only thing I don't like about Casey is his ownership. It's probably going to be close to $1 million.
35?
Yeah, I'm going to guess if it's not in the high 20s, it's going to be higher.
Oh, it's going to be higher than that. It's going to be between 35 and 40.
Yeah, I would have to think at least 32. Maybe higher. And then I'm going to go Patrick Reed as another core guy. He's down there.
I love Patrick Reed, so we can get to it. But, all right, so we've been all over the place with this. So, 10,000 and higher are those 5 guys. So then in the $9,000 range, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. Hideki, J-Day, Rory, Casey, and Koepka.
Mm-hmm.
So we know we don't really like Rory.
Yeah,
we've covered him. J-Day, to me, is in the same boat. He's going to be super chalky, and I don't trust his form. I know people trend. He's trending in the right direction. I just don't trust him. And to eat that much chalk, I have to be all in on him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree to an extent.
I think people are going to start their lineups with Jason Day.
I could see a lot of lineups starting.
Jason Day, Paul Casey starts.
Oh yeah.
And
I think I have one.
So that's where I don't want any part of that. And the forgotten guy in this mix is going to be Brooks Koepka. He hasn't been on fire with the playoffs, and his money or his salary is a lot higher than it's used to being. So I think he's going to be forgotten because either people are going to pay up to Casey or they're going to go down to the next tier, the $8,000 guys.
Sure. See, and this is what I do like about Jason Day, and I'll make a case for him real quick. Northern Trust, 9,700, scored 81 fantasy points.
Okay.
I can deal with 81 fantasy points. I don't necessarily like it for 97. 95 at the Dell, 81 and a half. You can deal with that. Now he's another $1,000 or $100 cheaper.
But you're going to be happy with the low 80s?
If,
out of your top guy?
If he's my top guy at 96 and allows me to get another two guys, in that 9,000 to mid 8s, yes.
Okay.
Because if I take, and this is kind of what me and some other guys were talking about earlier today, if you take Jordan Spieth and he gets you 100, and you take Hughes and he gets you 50, you're only at 150, you're averaging 75 points by two guys. I think I have a better chance to take Day and get 80, and Reed and get 80 and have 160, and I've saved money.
Yeah.
That's kind of my case for Jason Day is, yes, he's not playing great, but he makes birdies. Look what he did. He shot a 63. So he's.
So what was your first guy in your
Paul Casey?
No. In that example,
Spieth and
Spieth at 100. But what happens when Spieth scores 115 for the win, and then Hughes gets you 70?
Well, then that's awesome.
But then you're not there.
But you're not playing. Those odds are. I mean, if you look at Hughes or List, or the chances of them scoring that are not as good as Jason Day going well and shooting or scoring 90 points, and then Reed scoring 90, and you're still at 180. So that's kind of where I like Jason Day. I don't think he's going to win the tournament at all, but I could see him scoring us 80, 90, 95 points and having a good weekend. Or a good week, but because there is no cut, and I don't think he's going to feel that pressure, he could go out there and, I mean, did you see what he did on, what was it, Monday, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great round, and if he does that twice this week, that's a lot of points. And that's where I'm going with this week, and I'm getting rid of the mentality of, let's take the top guys and fill in the rest. Let's try to do something a little different. And it may work, it may not.
So here's the other thing with Jason Day. He's 28th in the FedEx Cup.
So he's got something to play. Well, I mean, chances are he's going to make it because I don't think he's going to finish below 20th. Well,
but then that means, guys like Sergio and Phil and Finau can't outscore him because then they'll jump him and he'll be out.
Well, maybe. I mean, it all depends. I mean, he could, Phil, Sergio, they could, finish 6th or 7th and get in, and Day finish 15th and still make it in.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not saying I'm going to take a lot of Day, but I do have probably 6 or so shares of him, and obviously I'm going to be cheering him on. I like Jason Day. But that's my case for him, is he's cheap enough now at 9,400?
Yeah.
That I can deal with
Day.
his.
He's at 96, but yeah.
Who is Day?
He's
at 96. I can deal with Day at 96 with the amount of points he scores because I compare him this week with somebody else that I feel is going to get me higher than a Spieth List, or Thomas, Schauffele lineup.
All right, so if you don't go Team Jam 'em in at the top, you're going to get a bunch in this $8,000 range. So let's go through here. Let's kind of quickly cover them. Guys that I like in this range, Stenson. I like Cantlay, but I think he's going to be really owned, and he's really high priced for what he's been. He's been, 7,000, 7,200, 7,400. Now he's all of a sudden 8,600, right?
Sure.
So Justin Rose is trending way better to me than J Day is, and I think he's poised to even win the thing. So,
I like it.
And then we talked about Reed. I love Reed down here. Guys that I don't like in this range. I don't care for Poulter, Kuchar, Zach Johnson, or Louis this week.
I, for the most part, am on the same page as you are. I'm not sure what happened to Poulter last week to shoot his price that high. That seems like a pretty big jump from last week. Because if I remember right, he was like 71.
Yeah.
And
like 7,000 and 7,100.
And then
all of a sudden he's 81.
I understand what they're doing. But
yeah, but he didn't perform.
Yeah, no.
Well,
he performed, but his performance wasn't justified for $1,000.
I mean, he finished 23rd. So it wasn't like Leishman who damn near won the thing.
So yeah, I'm going to stay away from Poulter this week. I like Poulter. I think he might do well, but that price scares me. Garcia, I kind of have this thing for Garcia this week because he's on
as long as he doesn't break his putter.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get that Spanish blood flowing and hit anything. But he's on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And I feel like Garcia plays better with his back against the wall. So I've got a couple Garcias. I love Stenson. I think Stenson's going to be a great play here. Oosthuizen, good play, not going to take him. And I agree with you on Rose. Rose is going to be great. Kuchar pops in a lot of my models, but
he's not been playing super well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
this
is a course for Kuch. Yeah. This could be the courses for horses case with Kuchar. We'll see. But Reed, yes, right. I've got Reed in every one of my lineups.
So then, really quick, in the 7,000s, we'll just go, cover a few guys in here. We are Team Finau on here, but
we're still Team Finau, but
we're not
Team Finau looking at Finau sitting on the bench.
Yeah, we're gonna bench him this week. First off, his price went up, and he hasn't been playing that well.
No, you look at his last few events, it's 44, 54, 65th finishing position. I mean, this right here is
weekend rounds in the 74, 75, 70-somethings.
This is a big tell to me right here. His strokes gained total, so your tee to green, approach, scrambling, putting, minus 5.1 strokes at the Dell. That you can't do anything with that. No. And as much as I like Finau and want to see him do well, I can't put a minus 5.1 guy on my bench or on my team.
Yeah.
And he was minus 2.1 at the Northern Trust. So
okay, then it brings us to Leishman. I think is a great play if you want to eat chalk here. He's going to be very, very owned after his performances this year. Even and then last week was really well. So, I like him if you're willing to eat that. So then let's go to a couple guys down here that I know you've been toying over and thinking about a lot, and Hoffman and Berger. And I don't know where you ended up, on which side of the fence you ended up with both of them.
Side.
Hoffman?
I've got a couple Bergers just to kind of cover me. I think Hoffman's going to play really well this week. I feel this is one of the feelings I have this week with the players is Hoffman's going to I'm going to predict a T10 or better, or top 10 or better. Berger had nothing really, but he pops in my models. I don't like him. I got him in 3.
He did finish second here the last time it was at Conway Farms.
That's the only thing I'm writing.
And it kind of came out of nowhere then. It would come out of nowhere here. I've been on that train this year, and it's not been good when I'm on it.
Not the best ride.
I'm just going to let somebody else win with him.
Yeah, if you win money with Berger, great. If not, if you don't take him, I will.
All right, so then Kyle Stanley played well for 2.5 rounds last week. Was in contention, kind of fell out of contention. Where did he end up finishing? 25th. So yeah.
25th,
you like him?
No.
Mickelson.
I like Mickelson.
I love Mickelson.
Yeah, I know you do.
So he needs to play well to get to the Tour Championship. When's the last time he didn't make a Tour Championship? He's motivated.
That's where I disagree.
You don't think he's motivated to go there?
No. What is Phil's aspirations in golf?
Majors.
Team events, Ryder Cups, President's Cups.
And he made
what
it.
happened last week?
He made it.
He had to prove. Now we all know that we. Who's the captain? Stricker. We know Stricker was going to pick him.
Right.
But I feel like he had to prove something last week. I could see Phil's mentality, and I don't mean this as a knock to Phil in any way, but he is so invested in these team events that his mind is already on the President's Cup. I just see that. I don't.
Yeah.
I have Phil, and I want Phil to do really good. He's one of my favorite golfers. Has always been one of my favorite golfers. But this President's Cup, I think, means more to him than any other President's Cup in previous years. So I think there was so much focus. He was just so laser focused on doing well and proving that his worth to the President's Cup that this week, and maybe the week off helped him. And I know he saw a doctor and things are changing. And like I said, I hope he does good. But I'm not going to put a lot of eggs in that basket. I'll put a few, but not a lot.
Yeah, I'll have a lot in that basket. Anybody else in that price range area you want to cover?
I mean, Vegas has the potential, but
I mean,
nothing.
He has the potential to finish dead last, too.
Yeah.
And down here, you're going to have to do that. I mean, Siwoo Kim, I'm going to take a flyer on him in one lineup because he could win, but he could also finish dead last.
Yeah. One guy I've got, I think I've got 2 shares, is DeChambeau. It's a complete flyer.
Yeah.
I mean,
you take one on him every week.
He's going to be a 0 or hero this week. But I mean, he 30th last week, miscut at 33rd, 60th at the Bridgestone, won the John Deere. So I don't really have any basis to take him on, other than when you put some of those top guys in there, you got to find somebody lower. The one guy I do like better than him, and I've gotten a couple lineups, is Hadwin.
Okay.
And I know you like Hadwin too.
I do. So that's what I wanted to go with is if you go Team Jammerman, like we talked, and you get a Spieth, Casey, so you can put Spieth with everybody in the lineup except for DJ or Ricky.
Correct.
So starting with the 4th player, which was
Thomas or Fowler. No.
Just Fowler, Rahm, Thomas. So you can put them all in there. And if you put in Spieth and Rahm, it leaves you 6,900 for your next 4 guys. And there's only like 5 guys with 6,500 or 6,900. So it gonna be slim pickings, but you can jam them in. So if you do go, even if you go like Spieth, Casey, Reed, you're gonna need 3 guys down here.
Yep.
So let's go 7,100, 7,000, and 6,900.
Okay.
Name 3 guys that you like.
Hadwin, Murray, and I'm going to go with Schauffele.
Okay. So I'm going to break it because I'm going to go 4.
Okay.
I'm going to Schauffele. I'm going to go Murray as well.
Okay.
I'm going to go Luke List.
Okay.
Simply because his firepower.
Sure.
I mean, he's round 1.
He's 8th in Eagles on my model, so that's
bogey,
great.
bogey to start, and then 5 straight birdies. So in the first 8 holes, he didn't have a par. So that's the roller coaster you ride with List.
Oh, it's
a
wild one.
It's a fun one.
So who's your 4th?
Gary Woodland.
Woodland? Okay.
Yeah, I think he's trending in the right direction, and he scores well on par 4s. So he's the 4th one down here that I really like.
Okay, I can deal with that. I do kind of like Hughes.
Yeah. I know you do. I don't really like him.
I don't think he's going to be owned much.
Yeah. I don't like. I mean
13th at Dell. His strokes gained total was 6.9, so he played really, really well. And if he can feed off of that going into this, he could be a great buy at 69 to pair up with your.
And he probably is going to be only 1 or 2% owned.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on how people go and how many people jam in and have to have 6,900 guys. I mean, just because there's only 5, and if you have to have 4 of them, his ownership's going to go up.
Sure.
But I don't think very many people are going to go top tier, bottom 4. I just don't.
No.
So
I wouldn't even mind trying to look at a couple of lineups where I lock in Spieth and Hughes
and see what middle it gives
and
you.
see what I can come up in the middle. Because I think Hughes is going to be a very good buy at 6,900.
Well,
it may be the best.
And what you're going to need to do is, A, ride or die with 1, 2, or 3 guys down here.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
And you're just going to have to pick them and trust that because it's not going to work spreading it over all of the 7,000s and lower.
No, you've got what? Where's it at?
So I've got the 4 down there, and that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna only have those 4 guys down that low, and then the top will be varied if I have to go that low.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of very low price guys, but when you look at 7,000 and lower, I personally only see about 3 guys that are going to be top 20 or better.
Okay.
And you have to have those 3 guys, or you have to have those guys finishing really good. Otherwise, you just wasted this week's lineups because you wanted to do a stars and scrubs, or what I call a star and scrubs this week.
So, pump plays, instead of being that low, let's go 7,500 and lower. Pick 1 guy to win it.
7,500 and lower.
Yep.
Ooh. Vegas. No. I want Mickelson.
Yeah, I'm taking Phil.
I want Mickelson, but I don't think he's going to do it. I'm going to say Vegas has a better chance to do it than Mickelson.
Okay. And then, top guys, I think Jordan's going to win.
I like Jordan, but I'm going to take Fowler here. I think
Really?
he's due. He's been playing well. He's right there. I mean, he's not
anybody in the middle you want to.
Patrick Reed.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Stenson
or Reed, I think, is going to have the best shot.
I could see. Reed, I could see. But I think Fowler's going to win. Looking back at his performances, a 60th at the Players, a couple missed cuts. But 13th, 20th, 5th, 9th, 22nd, 3rd, 5th, 2nd, 3rd, 11th. You're eventually going to have to take that next step up and win, and I think that's going to be this week for Fowler.
Well, you can make that argument for Casey too. So
no, he doesn't win.
All right.
He caps out his ceiling's 2.
2.
Yeah, second place. That's it.
Anything else you want to cover?
No.
Anything else you got written down?
No, I think that's about it.
It was a fun weekend watching football, but I'm so ready for golf to come back.
I am. I didn't watch any football this weekend. We won't get into why, but I'm ready for golf.
Can't wait.
It's time. I hate that it's the end of the year. I love watching the FedEx Cup, and I'm so ready for the President's Cup. We watched the Walker Cup.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
I watched the Solheim Cup.
Because the Walker Cup captain is from our hometown.
Yeah.
And the Walker Cup is currently at the golf course I work at part-time.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to be there tomorrow to go see and touch the Walker Cup. So I'm super excited about that. But this is a good time for golf. We got the FedEx Cup. We got the President's Cup. Next year, Ryder's Cup. So,
yep.
No, I got nothing.
All right.
That's it.
Like our video. Subscribe if you like it. We'll be back next week for the Tour Championship. Can't wait. And then we'll be back for the fall.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long to get that swing around season started again.
No, it's coming soon.
Comment below who you like, who you don't like, who we got it wrong on. But do that before the tournament. So don't do it after. We all know if we got it wrong after the tournament.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're thinking. We're getting some good feedback. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Everybody have fun. Hope you make some money this week, and everybody enjoys the golf week, and it's a good round.
Yep. All right. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Good luck.